So back working on the 240 under the car right now, and I'm taking off the exhaust. I haven't shown you guys much of this car on the underside, but here's the exhaust. It is in very many different pieces, but this is where I'm working now, where the rest of the exhaust connects to the downpipe. I'm assuming that is the proper downpipe. It's actually the appropriate downpipe for the RB20 Turbo. But the rest of this exhaust is pretty homemade. There is a lot of welds. It starts at, I'm guessing this is 2.5 inches of piping. Maybe, no, I wouldn't say 3. And then it goes to that cat and switches to 4-inch piping back there, which goes all the way at the other end of the car. But I was just taking off, I don't know where the nuts are. I don't know where I put them, but anyway, this one here, I went to break it loose, and it was on hand tight, so that's nice. So I've got a 17 mil bolt, 16 mil or 15, and a 14 on this side. So yeah, that's great. Continue doing that. Hopefully the other ones come off just as easy, but I'm guessing not. But yeah, we're gonna try dropping this exhaust. So here's all the bolts. I can see where an exhaust leak was on this nut, but different size for each one, which is always cool. Good idea. Not, but that should be good to come off now. And drop down. I'm gonna have to obviously disconnect it down here wherever it's still tied. It looks like it's zip tied or wire tied right there, and then back on the rear subframe, and then back at the exhaust tip at the end, and that should be it. Here's a better visual of this hanger. In pretty good shape, you know. Pretty brittle. And one more cable tie. And there she is. So I was gonna go remove the fill plug for the trans here, just because it's wise to undo your fill plug before you do your drain plug, because if you can't get your fill plug off and you take your drain plug out, then you're kind of shit out of luck. But I went to put the vice grips on it and get it out, and it's in there finger tight. So yeah, just another 240 find on this beast. That is questionable for sure. And I appear to be missing a trans bolt too, right there. So yeah, that's just dandy. So got the drain plug out. I actually just used a 1/2-inch adapter socket, and she's going there now. It was kind of weird. I pulled the plug, and the first little bit of liquid for like 1/2 a second was gray, like almost black, and then it just turned to this green color. So not sure what that's about, but I'm gonna let that drain there now, and then we can pull the drive shaft off, and that's pretty well it for under the car, except for the motor mounts. And yeah, doing pretty good. We got her. This is much smaller than I anticipated it being. It's pretty short, but I guess it's an S chassis. They're not very big cars, so. Okay, so just before I go, I just wanted to show you guys, guess I'm gonna get copyrighted. Music, let me turn it off. These motor mounts. So the trend for this car is everything is just hand tight. I don't know if you guys can see those bolts. I can't really point them out, but they're on that makeshift, and the light just died. Anyway, those 4 bolts that you were just looking at, or 3 I guess, right down here, attached to this motor mount, these were all hand tight on into the engine. So my motor mounts were hand tightened essentially onto the engine, which is great. That's always awesome to see. So super stoked on that. Just another find on this 240. But these ones over here, these ones were decently tight, but still missing a bolt. So yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that because, like I said, I'm documenting everything on this car, and so far it's obviously been a piece of work. So yeah, everything underneath was pretty well hand tight. The drain plug I took off with my hands, like you saw. The drive shaft bolts are in there nice and tight. I'll give them that, whoever put them in. But other than that, everything's pretty easy to get out. So I guess that's a bonus. We're not snapping bolts. So okay, so everything under the car is pretty well done. Just working on these motor mounts now, these homemade motor mounts. I'll give you guys a better shot of those once it's out of the engine is out. But yeah, they're pretty makeshift. We got some new nice ISR ones. As you can see, one of the bolts is even missing, so that's great. And then the other mount there, it's in the shadows kind of, but that one will be a little bit tougher to get to maybe. But just those 2, and then the trans mount underneath, which I already broke loose. So when it comes time, won't be pulling the motor tonight, obviously, because I don't have a hoist. So yeah, once I get the hoist, should just be able to pop this right out without any issues, hopefully. Just power steering left. I did the slave cylinder on the trans underneath, and then it's just the power going to the starter from the battery in the back. So yeah, that's pretty well it for tonight. I'm just going to finish up those things, and then the next clip you guys will be seeing will be us pulling the motor out, hopefully. So yeah, catch you in the next one.